Yes, it is. I think that's a little bit, it's a little bit more complex, but we're going to get to what predicates both of those, what precedes rather both of those, which is there's something that comes before you either answer with a toxic narrative or with your inner critic. And so I think that's going to be the point of interception. And those are your what ifs. So that's when you are faced with something. So here I am, I'm on this building and I'm looking across at the other building, right? And I have this tightrope. What if I fall? What if I fall? Okay. What if I do? This is our onus to ourselves to answer our what ifs. And we have been, again, conditioned to ignore the what ifs. What happens when we ignore the what ifs is that they devolve into toxic narratives. So let me give you an example. Here I am. I see this tightrope. I see the other side, right? I'm going to fall. What if I fall? What if I fall? Well, what if I do? Well, then that means I wasn't meant for it. That means I wasn't good enough. That means I didn't have what it takes. There we go again. We dive into those pervasive, permanent things. Our job is to intercept that at the what if and say, what if I do fall? Okay, what can I do? What can I do? Act, execute. This is the most critical thing for you to understand, that your success hinges on your ability to be relentless, to be massive, to be engaged, to be active, to press yourself harder than you ever think you can press yourself. Why? Because you're worth it. And I don't hate to break it to you. I love to break it to you. You are the one who has to prove you're worth it. Nobody else. You are the one. So are you willing to prove it? Are you willing to lean into that what if? This is where you change it, Anu. You answer it instead of saying, what if I do? Well, I guess that means I'm this. No. Here's what I'm going to do in order to address that before it happens. I'm going to make sure that I have the best gripping shoes on. I'm going to make sure that I hire the best tightrope walking coach there ever was. I'm going to make sure that I do some visualization exercises. You guys know Michael Phelps. Now, this is like way long ago, but I use this story because it's applicable. There's probably a more relevant one that I'm not aware of, more recent, I should say. So Michael Phelps had a coach, a great coach. Yeah, did Michael Phelps have some natural swimming ability? Absolutely. Somebody saw something in him, right? He had the physique for it. Sure. But make no mistake, this man worked his butt off to get to where he was. He had a talent and he sharpened it. He sharpened his points. He didn't rest on this hope of talent. That is not what talent is. Talent is meant to be exercised. It's meant to be sharpened. It's meant to be honed. So his coach one time had him visualize. He said, listen, I want you to visualize not being able to see. This was in practice. I want you to visualize not being able to see while you're swimming. And Michael was like, why do I need to, never irrelevant. He's the greatest swimmer of all time with ADHD. Exactly. Yeah, he's a mental health advocate, right? So his coach said, I want you to practice visualizing. And he's like, this is nuts. I don't need to know how to visualize. Yes, you do. Because one day you're going to be in the dark. One day you're not going to be able to see. And that one day came in the midst of a competition when his goggles filled with water and he could not see. And guess what? He had prepared himself. He didn't count on some permanent, pervasive truth about him that I've got this, I'm awesome. You see, those toxic narratives work the other way too. It's not just about how horrible you are or how you're not going to make it. It's, I'm awesome. I'm great. I can do anything. No, this is not create an identity land. This is execute who you believe yourself to be. This is be who you believe yourself to be, require it. And so because he prepared for that, he stood on this side of it. He had a coach who envisioned something that he might run into that he would not be prepared for. This is how he was successful in that moment. Will Smith, arguably one of the most popular, driven, successful madly successful. Influencers. He's not just an actor. He's more than that, right? Arguably, one of the most influential in the industry. I watched an interview with him. This is the level of dedication that we need to have, that we need to commit to, because nobody else is going to do it for us. Nobody else can do it for us. We have to commit to this ourselves. As Les Brown says, we have to be a person of integrity, such that when we say we will do that thing, we do that thing. You see, commitment to somebody else is practice, commitment to ourselves, that's mastery. So Will Smith said this in his interview. He said, let me tell you this. He said, my work ethic is so strong. He didn't talk about his ability. He didn't talk about how amazing he was, how gifted he was. No, he talked about his work ethic. He said, my work ethic is so crazy that if me and you get on a treadmill together, one of two things is going to happen. Either you're going to get off first or I'm going to die. This is what he said. This is his crazy work ethic. That is something that nobody can choose for you. Nobody can do for you. Nobody can make you have that crazy work ethic. Answer those what ifs. What if I fail? What if I don't get this job? What if I get rejected? What if I get ghosted? What do I need to do to put myself at the cream of the crop of what I know is my terrifying longing?